Welcome to Intuitive Connection, where spirituality and psychology meet to help you be your best and brightest self. I'm your host, Victoria Shaw, and in each episode, I'll help you to awaken your own inner wisdom, step into your power, and live a more divinely inspired life. You're here to let your inner light shine. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to Intuitive Connection. I'm your host, Victoria Shaw. And today on the podcast, I want to share some personal stories with you and maybe some general ones too around the law of attraction and how when we put a desire out there into the universe, and I think, it's especially potent when we do so very consciously, with the intention to manifest, with the intention to create, we'll often see evidence of those creations before they fully come to fruition. And so we'll often see little dribs and drabs, little pieces out there that we are starting to co-create. And it is my belief that when we celebrate them, when we notice them, when we get excited about them, we are continuing to build more momentum towards attracting in, the full package of what we want to experience. Right? And the guides also say, and I'm going to give you all a specific example in a moment, fear not, but they also say that when we play the game in this way, when we start to look at those breadcrumbs, when we start to understand that we're always creating, and when we start to take the manifestations that we are creating seriously and really feel into them and get excited about them and notice them, we're continuing to refine and move our energy and flow our energy in the direction of that which will bring us the most satisfaction and joy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, just in case you haven't been listening to this podcast and podcasts like it forever, and you don't know what the law of attraction is, I'm going to give you a quick summary, but do listen back at some of our other episodes too, where I explain this in more detail. But the basic idea is, right, we are powerful creators and everything is energy, and that we are attracting to ourselves, that we are creating, right, everything in our world, everything that we experience in our 3D reality has been created by the energy that we are putting out into the world. Right? And a lot of this we do consciously and intentionally, and some of it we don't do so, purposefully. But everything that we experience in our world, we have created with our highest self, with source, with the divine. And the idea of manifesting that we often talk about, right? When people want to manifest more consciously, more intentionally, it's around using this beautiful thing called the law of attraction that is happening all the time anyway, more purposefully, and with greater spiritual alignment. Okay. And that's what we're talking about today. And I think whenever anyone is talking about the law of attraction, what they're talking about is how to create, because you're manifesting no matter what. And I've talked about this before, but how to create more consciously and more in line with the things that will make our soul sing while having this human experience. And so some of you recently, and I apologize, this podcast has gotten increasingly autobiographical, but I hope you all don't mind because so many good examples are coming through. And of course, I'll share some other general stuff too. But many of you, if you've been following the podcast, you know that I have just ended a 30-year marriage and moving now towards exploring the idea of, finding a new potential partner in new relationships. And of course, it's not something that I want to, jump into heads first, but it is something that I'm really excited about and feeling into. And I've been enjoying bringing more male energy into my life after, living 2 years separated from, my soon-to-be ex-husband. And I'm feeling ready again. I'm feeling ready again for sure. And one of the things that I've noticed through this process, right, and it's with everything in my world. So it's not just with dating, it's with money, it's with my career, it's with the retreat that a lot of you guys know about. It's kind of with everything. So it just recently happened with a dating example. But I've noticed that when I put the call out there for something that I would like to have happen, the universe always delivers. And it always delivers something immediately. Now, occasionally it will deliver, and some of you have this experience, the opposite of what you think you want, right? Just to remind you that you're still sending out those vibes too. But oftentimes that's not my experience at all. My experience is that it'll start to show me like evidence that we are moving in that direction, okay? So here's an example. I've been thinking a lot about dating, and some of you guys know from other episodes, I've been on a couple match dates, and that's been all very fine and good and interesting. But I've also just been feeling a lot into, each person you meet, you think about, well, that was nice about that, but like, I kind of also want this. And so, I've been refining. And that often happens too when we start to have a goal or a desire or an intention and we're moving in a certain direction. Life will kind of show us through examples, right? That kind of, you get this, you get that, and you start to refine and figure out, oh, this is the sweet spot. This is what I really want. And one of the things that I've been thinking, a lot of too is I just miss having male energy in my life, right? I've made an amazing network of female friends here in San Diego, for which I am just so blessed and I feel so graced with them. But I haven't met that many males. So, it's part of that too. But anyway, I've been noticing over the past couple of days, right, that I seem to be meeting men everywhere. Like I just seem to be meeting men everywhere and in kind of the strangest places. Last night I was at a concert and the gentleman sitting next to me was a single man from the next town over and was chatting with me and giving me all sorts of information about San Diego and cool things to do because, I haven't been here very long. And definitely won't go anywhere because, I don't know if I'll see him again. But it was such a powerful reminder, right? You put that message out there and these things start to come. This evening, I was supposed to have a date that was canceled, all fine and good. But I was still feeling, that kind of vibe. And I took a walk to the beach and ended up chatting with a very nice gentleman while watching dolphins play in the surf at sunset, right? And again, sometimes, and the reason I want to talk about this is twofold. One, these are most definitely positive, right? Indications that my message is being heard, and that I've begun to attract in what I'm seeking, what I desire. And they're very, very powerful signs, right? Hey, I just had a romantic sunset with a random guy at the beach. How cool was that? But they're also important too, and this is what I really wanted to talk about, because when we start to put ourselves out there and we start to, whether it's dating or a new career or more abundance or more friendships or really any little thing that your heart desires, when we start to put that call out there, the universe will start to respond. But it doesn't always respond right away in a complete whole picture. It doesn't always mean that one day I think, wow, I think I might be ready, to date again. And, I open my front door and someone is, dropped on one knee with with an engagement ring in his hand. It doesn't usually work that way. And I probably wouldn't want it to work that way, right? Because I'm still in the discovery period. I'm still learning. I'm still exploring. I'm figuring out what I want, what interests me, what excites me. And the universe is happy to participate. There's also another thing that's probably going on with me and maybe going on with you when you put a new wish out into the world, or as Abraham Hicks would say, you launch a rocket of desire, a new rocket of desire. Something else that happens too sometimes is there's a little bit of a refinement, right? There's a little bit, we start to see, what we want to manifest, but we also sometimes see, some of the old habits or patterns or things that are getting in the way. And that's lovely too, because those things too are information and those things too are refinements and those things too will create more contrast, as Abraham Hicks would say, or more refinement for us to figure out even more truly and deeply what it is that will bring us joy. And, we don't manifest in order to control the exterior world. And if you do, you can, and it works. And that's the egoic way of doing it. But I promise you, it is not a guaranteed path to joy. But when we, create more loosely, when we create from joy for joy to increase joy, you see, that's when it gets really exciting. And that's when it gets really magical. And that's what I'm experiencing right now. And so, but what sometimes can happen, and this has happened with me a couple of times, so I'm going to share, not real deep, but enough, right? Is that sometimes when we get the beginning of these manifestations, right? We put out a call, we get a response, and we grab onto that thing as if it's the last thing we're ever going to get, right? So, I did not do that this evening. This evening, I was just blown away by the gift of meeting a nice gentleman and enjoying a sunset at the beach. But I could have, right? I could have been like, I didn't get his number. I should have gotten his number. That could have been Mr. Right. What if I missed it? It's all over, Ooh, that would not be a good energy. Right? And so we have to sort of let life be our muse. We have to let life be our muse. We have to understand there's no scarcity and everything is going to come in exactly the way that it comes. And when we start to notice where life is showing us the path, when life is showing us what powerful creators we are and that we are in the process of creating, that's where all the magic really lies. So one of my favorite writers or most enjoyable writers about the law of attraction, Bonnie Lonsberry. She was on the show, I want to say in her first year. So check out that episode. She's lovely. And her book is called The Map. And we'll have that in the show notes. But anyway, one of the things that she said in her book, and maybe even in the episode, and I've mentioned this many times, but I loved it. She's like, when you put out that call, right? When you say, I want to have more prosperity, more money, more material abundance, and then you find a penny on the ground, you celebrate that penny. Because that is a sign that the universe is listening. That is the sign that your manifestation has begun. But oftentimes we look on the ground and we go, oh, it's a penny. I didn't want a penny. I wanted $1 million, right? And that's sort of the wrong approach because the pennies count. The pennies count. And the more we look at the pennies as evidence, right, of our divine nature, of evidence of our power as, powerful creators, manifestors, whatever you want to say, the more that we recognize these signs for what they are, right, of our own power, of our own creative potential, as the fact that the universe is listening and it's on the path to delivering that which we desire, the more we're going to move in the direction that we want to move in. So we gotta pick up those pennies, or at least acknowledge those pennies. And to me, my gentleman on the beach was like, already $5,000. It was magical. The sun was setting, dolphins were splashing, and I was having a lovely conversation with a very, very, very nice gentleman, right? It doesn't matter if I ever see this gentleman again. It doesn't matter. It's just proof positive that I'm on the right track. And so are you. So are you. So whenever you are intentionally trying to manifest something, I invite you to watch your life, and watch where the manifestation is happening in the now. Watch for those signs, be it the penny on the ground, be it the little loving hearts, that you see everywhere when you're looking, to bring more love into your life. If it could be repeating numbers when you're just looking to know that life supports you. Wherever it is, watch those signs and watch the things that materialize. And a lot of times too, we'll get something and it's not exactly what we want. And so we think that, oh no, right? I don't know how to manifest. You absolutely and completely know how to manifest. You can't not know how to manifest because it's your birthright and you're doing it all the time, right? And what you're learning is how to cooperate with that wiser part of you, that higher self, that inner being, your God self, source, the universe, right? That part of you that knows the bestest way to get the job done. And you have to surrender to that just a little bit or sometimes a lot in order to move in the direction you want to go, because you can't do it with ego alone. You can't. And if you try, you may get somewhere. And you may even get somewhere you like temporarily, but to do it right and to do it with joy, it is much better, right, to surrender just a little bit. And also trust that your higher self, your inner being, source, God, the universe, whatever words you want to use, knows exactly the right path for you to move in the direction that you want to move in, and even probably knows the direction that you will be most satisfied in flowing toward. So we can listen to it that way too, right? And I always say when it comes to conscious creation and manifestation, tune into your intuition, both in terms of the steps to move forward on what you desire, but also tune in to really hone and feel into what is it that I really crave? What is it that my soul is really guiding me towards right now? Because we can use our intuition for both. And it's always, always, always speaking to us. And then life is going to show you. Life is going to show you through your creations that you're heading in the right direction. And then sometimes life is going to show you too where you're still feeling into it, where you're still stretching and growing and preparing yourself to align with that which you seek. But a lot of times the guides say, it is just showing you that you're on the right path. But what we sometimes do is we respond to that with scarcity, and we cling on for dear life to the breadcrumbs rather than following them all the way, down the path to the big endless supply of, to the bread factory, right? To the endless supply of loaves of bread. You don't need to cling to the breadcrumbs, but you can follow them and you can honor them. And if you want to pick one up and take a bite, that is fine too. That is fine too. Just don't confuse those with the end product, right? Don't think that you have to hang on to everything that's created. They're just signs. They're just like the way stations getting you to where you want to go. And look, at the end of the day, there really is no bread factory. Okay? There's just increasingly more appetizing loaves of bread. And this is funny because you're talking to a person that has been gluten-free for 3 decades. So I love that they're giving me a bread analogy, but gluten-free bread is good too. Not really, but you get used to it. But anyhow, right? Sorry, the guides are like cracking up right now. They're like, it doesn't have to be bread, but we do so like that imagery. Oh, they are playing with me. All right, back to you. So the deal is, right, it doesn't just have to be bread. It can be cheese and wine. It can be a fig tree. I love figs, right? It can be pretty much anything because you are always constantly creating and you are always pushing the edges of that which you desire and creating more and more and expanding more and more into what will give you increasing levels of joy and exploration and curiosity. And I don't even know what I'm saying, but I hope you get the point. There's no end point to this beautiful process of life. That's the point. We are continually exploring and expanding and enjoying, and that is exactly as it should be. But along the way, we sometimes and oftentimes will come across the things that really, really, really light us up. And those are, our intentions, our desires manifest. And you'll enjoy them for a while, and then you'll keep going. And so you don't have to get hung up on any particular thing. Enjoy what life brings. Enjoy what life brings. And know if life is bringing you a random encounter on the beach that was just so magical and lovely, it's a sign. It's a sign. And the next time it might be another 30-year partner. Who knows? But we're in a constant state of flux, and we don't need to cling to any of it because the universe is always delivering. We just have to open our eyes and pay attention and to bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in. So, whatever you've been thinking about bringing into your life or wherever you felt like you're being a little bit struggling, what I'd love to invite you to do is to start looking. If it's a struggly kind of thing, start looking for the exceptions. Looking for the exceptions. If you've been feeling down about your health, or you've been feeling down about your relationships, or you've been feeling down about money, or you've been feeling down about yourself, right? Look for the exceptions. Look for the moments when you don't feel that way. Look for the pockets of life when you feel good for 5 minutes. Look for the moments, the exceptions, because that is a really, really helpful way to reorient you towards that new way of being. Right? And to shift your energy. So the first thing to always do is look for those exceptions. If you are vibrating at a higher state and you're mostly feeling good and you're mostly feeling oriented towards a particular goal and you have a pretty reasonable belief that that thing is on its way to being realized, well, this is where even more fun and play can begin. And then what I want you to do is put those intentions out there and then let them go. Let them go. Don't try to control them. Sometimes we try to control them by figuring out exactly how they got to be. And again, usually when we do that, we tie ourselves into knots and we chase our tail for a while because your higher self, your inner being, God, source, the universe, knows a lot better how to get the job done. So you set that intention, you let it get out there, you fantasize, you dream, you play, you explore, and then you look around and you see how life is providing. And you look at those manifestations that you are attracting into your life. It could be the penny on the ground, or maybe a check, that randomly arrives in your, mailbox for $500. Or it could be an interview with a really cool company. It could be, I'm trying to think of some of my examples, or, meeting random men everywhere you look, right? It really doesn't matter what it is. And then the step 2 is to notice, but don't cling. Don't feel that you have to cling to the first thing that the universe provides. Take everything as information that you're moving on your path and that you're expanding into that which you desire. And then leave it at that and enjoy the process as much as you can. Enjoy all the little nudges and breadcrumbs and discoveries that you make along the way, because that is actually what makes life magical. And, we lose the magic when we think that the end product has to look a certain way. But that doesn't mean you have to let go of what it is that you desire. As fun as it is to meet random people on the beach and have cool conversations, of course, I would like to have someone that maybe wasn't so random down the line, right? That was a little bit more of a regular thing. And as cool as it is to, get a random check or have someone, buy your coffee and pay it forward at Starbucks, or pay it forward and pay your whole grocery bill. All of these things are amazing. And wow, if someone's doing that for you, you celebrate that for sure. We oftentimes, that's not enough. We want to keep going. We want more and more and more and more and more. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is, in fact, the nature of your soul, the nature of your spirit is to expand. Right? So we do often, we will be satisfied with everything, but we will always want more. And that is the trick. Let yourself be satisfied with everything, but it's fine to continue to want to expand and to grow and to bring in more. And there'll be, of course, certain manifestations that will light you on fire, like in a good way, right? That will just light you up and you will be so happy and you will enjoy them so much. And you will stand on the top of the mountain and say, I did that. I did that. And when you get to those moments, you celebrate them. And some of these are, not single mountain climbs. They might be another 20-year relationship. They might be a 50-year career. They might be a book that you write that, you have the royalties between now and, the end of this incarnation. Maybe even your grandkids will be enjoying the fruits of your labors monetarily. Who knows? Because some of our creations on earth are more enduring than others, but they're all equally valuable and they're all equally enjoyable. And again, the more that we can enjoy the process without clinging, the more we're going to enjoy our lives. And most importantly, the more potent and powerful creators we shall become. So as I start to wrap this one up, and I know there's a lot of sort of new concepts and new ideas that I haven't really touched on so much on the show. So I'm excited to get your feedback on all of this and hear what you all think. But as I start to wrap this one up, and I'm going to go upstairs myself and enjoy the fruits of my labors today and all the ways in which the universe has shared with me how, it is listening and it is responsive and it is sharing and showing me what a powerful creator I am. I want to invite you all to do the same. I want to really invite you all to do the same. And so take some time over the next couple days or for as long as you want and really notice, right, how the universe is providing for you. And your monkey mind, may want to come in and say, it can't be this, it can't be that, this isn't good enough. Try if you can to let that voice chatter in the background, but pay it no mind. Pay it no mind. Start to look for the miracles. Start to look for the miracles in everything. And don't worry, you can't make yourself enjoy the miracles too much. And you can find the miracles everywhere. And of course, our brain wants to say, but, I got a penny on the ground here, but I'm still $40,000 in debt. Go with the penny. Go with the penny, right? The penny is a miracle. The penny is a miracle. And the more you follow the miracle of the penny, maybe don't keep spending money if you're $40,000 in debt. Please look at that. But also understand that oftentimes it's the mental game. It's the mental game. It's the feeling into our power as creators that solve the problem, right? And not going into the problem itself. We don't need to go there. All right. So I think that that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to thank you guys all, as always, for tuning in. It means so much to me to be able to do what I get to do in recording these podcast episodes and sharing them with you. If you want to take a deeper dive into any of the topics, like the law of attraction that we cover in our episodes, please join me over in the Intuitive Connection Premier Community. That's my new membership community, where for a very reasonable price, you get 2 monthly meetings with yours truly and an amazing group of enlightened souls. And we cover all of the same material in the podcast in more interactive format. And there's also time each each week for intuitive guidance from myself and your guides. So if that speaks to you, join us there. You can also find me for free over in the Intuitive Connection Community Facebook group, where I also do lots of live teachings and occasionally even some free readings. And very most importantly, please keep listening, hit subscribe, give us a 5-star review, share with your friends. It means a lot. I love doing this and I love sharing with you. So have a wonderful day and namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you found joy, strength, inspiration, and clarity from today's episode. If you'd like to learn more and connect with an amazing group of like-minded souls, please join us over on Facebook in the Intuitive Connection Community Facebook group, where we explore these topics in deeper detail, have additional live teachings, and host Facebook Lives with our amazing guests. I hope to see you there. And of course, if you want to learn more about me or the work that I do, please check out my webpage, victoriashawintuitive.com. Thank you so much again, and namaste.